Here are some top Broadway shows from over the decades. First, we will start with the 1940s. Some key writers were Rodgers and Hammerstein. Some key shows were Oklahoma and Carousel. Carousel was one of Rodgers' favourite to write. Also, Kiss Me Kate, written by Samuel and Bella Spewak, featuring music and lyrics by Cole Porter. Oklahoma, set in 1906 Oklahoma Territory. It is the story of rivalry, love, cowboys and farmers, featuring songs such as Oh What a Beautiful Morning. The writers received a special Pulitzer Award. It is considered the first blockbuster Broadway show. The latest production featured Hugh Jackman. Next up, we have the 1950s. Now, some key writers, Betty Comden and Adolph Green. Some key shows, Singing in the Rain and An American in Paris. Singing in the Rain is said to be one of the greatest musicals of all time. O'Connor won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy for Singing in the Rain. It was choreographed by Gene Kelly. Don Lockwood, who is played by Gene Kelly, is a popular silent film star with humble roots as a singer, dancer and stuntman. Now for the 1960s. A key writer was Julian Fellowes. He also wrote the hit TV series Downton Abbey. And key shows include Sound of Music and Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins' lyrics were written by the Sherman Brothers. Mary Poppins, the namesake and lead female actor. Her last name describes her behaviour because she tends to pop in and pop out of children's lives wherever she pleases. She has the ability to fly and perform magic. Her trademark looks are dark hair, rosy cheeks, long coat, an umbrella with a parrot head, and her hat with cherry stems. She also claims to be cousins with inanimate things like the man on the moon or a king cobra at the zoo. Now for the 1970s. So some key writers were Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey. Some key shows were Grease and Sugar. The musical Grease is set in 1959 at fictional Rydell High School. The score borrows heavily from sounds of early rock and roll. In its original production in Chicago, it was a raunchy, raw, aggressive, vulgar show. Subsequent productions were sanitized and it got toned down a bit. Next up, we have the 1980s. A key writer was Andrew Lloyd Webber. A key choreographer, Gillian Lynn. And some key shows were Cats, Les Miserables, and Phantom of the Opera. Cats is sung through musical composed by Andrew Lloyd Webber, based on the 1939 poetry collection Old Pussum's Book of Practical Cats. Cats is the fourth longest running Broadway show. Phantom of the Opera is based in 1910 French novel of the same name by Gaston Leroux. Its central plot revolves around a beautiful Sperano. The 1990s are next, with some key musicians of Elton John and Alan Menken. The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast were some key shows. The Lion King is a musical based on the 1994 Walt Disney Animation Studios animated feature film of the same name, with music by Elton John, lyrics by Tim Rice, and the book by Roger Allers and Irene Mecchi. Beauty and the Beast is a musical with music by Alan Menken, lyrics by Howard Ashman and Tim Rice. Now for our second last decade, the 2000s. We have some key writers, Katherine Johnson and Thomas Meehan. Some key shows, Mamma Mia and Hairspray. Hairspray is an American musical with music by Mark Shaman and lyrics by Scott Whitman and Mark Shaman, and a book by Mark O'Donnell and Thomas Meehan, based on John Waters' 1988 film of the same name. Now for our final decade, the 2010s. Some key writers were Lin-Manuel Miranda Matt Stone, Trey Parker, and Robert Lopez. The Book of Mormon and Hamilton were some key musicals. Hamilton is a musical with music, lyrics, and book by Manuel Miranda that tells the story of an American founding father, Alexander Hamilton. Inspired by the 2004 great biography, Alexander Hamilton. Finally, my favourite show of all these is Oklahoma. I like it because it was one of the first musicals I saw. Because my nan was visiting me, she just started watching it, so I went in the room and just sat there and watched it. It was the latest version with Hugh Jackman as the lead role. I was only 6 when I saw it, and liked it ever since. Thank you for watching my presentation on Broadway through the decades.